Hello YouTube, welcome back to another video. This is 26 Tango Mike 062 and 20 IQJ. So on this channel I've reviewed a number of PMR radios and I've done an on-air test. Let's go up to the shack and compare the PMR radios. Okay, so up in the shack, let's compare some PMR radios. There's quite a few to go through. I won't spend too long on each one. So the ones we reviewed on the channel were these ones here, the Fleurions. Now the good thing about these is they're cheap. I paid about 15 quid for two of these. The downside is you got a stupid lamp at the top and it goes off in your pocket. A lot of people are saying I removed the lamp function, i.e. desoldered the key, so the lamp doesn't actually work. Even when the radio's off, the lamp comes on. So all these radios these days need a lamp. Now you can, I think you can charge these via no, you can't recharge these via USB. It runs off AA batteries, so it's easy to replace the batteries. Let's just put 3 AAs in there and you're ready to go. And the good thing about it is they're nice and cheap. They're about 15 quid I think I paid for them. Different colours they come in. You can get them in yellow, blue, black, I think green as well. But the black ones are out of stock. The downside of it being yellow, if you're going to use it out and about, it's going to get dirty very, very quickly. Now this one here is a Retevis, I think this is a 615 or 618, let's have a look. It says it's a Retevis, yeah, Retevis 618. Now this downside with this one is you have to program it on the computer. If you want to change the channels and C to CSS tones, you can change the channels, that's no problem. And if you want to change the C to CSS tone, i.e. go to channel 1, C to CSS tone, it's a mouthful to say that is, C to CSS tone, 82.5, has to be done on the computer. Now this one is actually now programmable on Chirp, which is good. With this one, it's got cool tones, and you can change the C to CSS and scan with this radio. Now that one's got 16 channels, and this one also has 16 channels. And like all radios, you got a epoxy lamp function there, which goes at the top there. There's your volume switch. And this one is rechargeable via USB, so you can charge it up, the battery pack, away you go. And the good thing about this is if you're out and about, you don't have to buy any more batteries, just plug it into a USB power bank, it'll charge. The downside is it can't run it from AA batteries, so the battery pack goes. You've got to get a new battery pack or find some other way to use it, or you have the battery on there and have it plugged into USB permanently to make it work. This one here, which is a Retevis, another Retevis PMR, these have got a rechargeable, yep, is that rechargeable battery? Let's have a look. Yes, it's got a rechargeable battery there. Well, that looks like a Nokia battery. I'll have a look at that. See, it works on one of my old Nokias. That'd be interesting. It's got a rechargeable battery there. And these ones have the wireless clone function. You can change, I think you can change the C to CSS on these. And you can change the tones and everything on this radio as well. And there you go. There you've got your earphone socket there. So you can plug in your, you can see that. You can plug in your microphone or whatever, your headpiece. And that's where you, is that the USB? Yep, that's where you can charge it up. And I think that's a mini USB or micro USB, so you can still get them cables about. And these have got Vibra Alert. Now these haven't actually got a lamp function, which is good. You've also got a menu button there, you can change different things, and you've got the LED there. All these PMRs have got non-removable areas, which they should be, and they're running 500 milliwatts. And there you go, you've got your LCD or display there, display your channel on. And this one's also got 16 channels. This one here is another Retevis. I bought two of these to play around on the channel. The downside of this is it's got a problem with it where you can't change the C to CSS tone. A friend of mine, WWK, G4WWK, had the same problem. I think he returned his one, but they were cheap. I think they were about 12 quid for two of them, so I didn't bother returning them. So it doesn't matter what channel you go to, 1 to 16, it's going to be 1 C to CS tone, I think 01, and you can't change it. Nothing in the menus, it must be like a faulty batch of radios or something, but the radio does work fine. You want to use it on C to CSS tone 1, and yeah, it works. You get two in a box, I think it's about 12-13 quid, and these ones will run, if we can get that out, I think it's running off, there you go, yeah, they will run off AA batteries. And this is a Retevis, I can't see what that is, that's too small, that is, RA615 for this radio. This has got all the cool tones, the CTS scan, and so on. Let's see if we can get that back on. Let me put the belt clip in. Now this one doesn't actually have a lamp function, but you can change the channels and CTS tone on the radio, and you've also got a scan button there, so you can scan through the channels. If you wanted a more professional PMR radio, something like this, the Alinco. This is the DJ446. Now this hasn't got any tones in it, but you can change the seated CSS tone via the radio. And for some reason this has got 39 in there, and I believe it's got DCS as well. And there's a mod you can do to these to make them 5 watts, but this is the more professional PMR. It says private mobile radio. But my battery's long gone, and when I first got the radio, the battery lasted a couple of hours and it had gone flat. It's rechargeable, but the charger I had is long gone, so I want to use it. I can power it up off one of them LiPo batteries there with a pigtail lead, so I can still use a radio. Top there you got your headset, and that's how you change the volume and stuff like that. Function button there. There is a tone button. You've got a tone scan as well, and so on. Call button. I think it's just a few bleeps on the side there. On the side you've got your PTT switch, and there's also, does that say lamp? Oh, yeah, there's a lamp function there as well. Don't know where the lamp is on this. Oh, maybe it's the backlit display. You can make it go green, light it up in dark, or turn it off to save the battery. But run it off a drain battery, it lasts a lot longer than the original battery did. The other week we looked at one of these. This is another dirt cheap PMR. This one was, oh, Steve brought, I think 12 for 10 quid or 10 for 12 quid or something like that. I'm not sure what these would have been new, but they're nice and cheap. Downside with these is they look a bit kiddified, but if you wanted a cheap PMR to take around that do seated CSS scanning and tone scanning and so on, then yeah, this one would be good. If you lose it, it's only a cheap one, 10 quid, something like that. Yeah, nice and cheap. And this one will run off AA batteries. This one here, which we just looked at, which is a DJ446, this would have been about 80-90 quid new, because it's more of a professional PMR. My first 2 PMRs were the Telcom T100s, and they cost around about 70 odd quid for 2 of them. Only had the basic 8 channels. This one here is a Baofeng BF, I think it's a T17. Now again, this is PC programmable, and you can also use it to charge up via USB there, because it's rechargeable battery, and you've got a LED there. You can change the channels, but you can't change any of the tones in the radio. You have to do that via the computer, and this one is supported on Chirp if you program it under the setting for this one. Apparently this one also does repeaters and stuff as well. There's no repeaters on 446, so you can use it on the amateur bands, so I'll have to dig out the software, run an old Bully Boy build box, and then see if I can get the old repeaters working on it. Another one we looked at on the channel, which was the Pofung, which I bought from Steve for a tenner. Again, program it on a computer. It's supported by Chirp under the BF888 setting, and it says 446. Can do the channels, but to change the seated CSS tones, got to be done on the computer. But this one is rechargeable via USB. There we go. Now, PMRs are not supposed to have removable antennas. We looked at this one here, which is the GPMR 116 from Goodman's. Now, the reason it's got a removable antenna is because it's about 20 years old, this one. I think I picked these up at a car boot sale. I'm not sure what they would have cost new. But when PMRs first come out, every company was doing them. You saw these in like shops. And it was probably 2 in a pack. This one will run off AA batteries, and you can change the seated CSS tones and all sorts via the radio. And there is a call button there. You don't have to program it on the computer, which is good, which is how it should be. Another one I picked up from a boot sale. I think I paid about 50p for this. It's a Bondi PMR. Runs off AAA batteries, and you've only got the basic 8 channels. You can't change any of the tones, because there isn't any in this radio. But you can change all the channels there, and you can change the call tones via the radio. You've got the PTT switch there, and there's also, it should be a call button somewhere there. This one here, which is the last one, we have ourselves a Retevis PMR. I've got 2 of these for £36 off Amazon. Now these are a bit more of a quality radio compared to something like this. This one's got rechargeable batteries. You can also put AA batteries in there. It's got a lamp function, because all radios need a lamp function. And you've also got your monitor, you've got your tones and all sorts. I think it's running similar software to this one here, which is the Fluorion, which is also running similar software to this one here. This has got the seated CSS and tone scans. So out of all these PMRs, what would I recommend? Well, if you wanted just a basic one to take around at a rally, sitting there on, say, 446 channel 1, something like this, you could take around with you. If you lose it, have it around your neck. It's only a tenner. That's £10.50 that one, so it's cheap if you lose it. You can even program it up for repeaters with their software apparently, so you could use that on the amateur bands. This one here, when I got mine, obviously I had to program it on the computer. It mains hums. You key up and you get hum over it. I don't know if it's not mains hum, it's just an electric hum. Don't know what happens like that. Maybe I just got a faulty radio there. Didn't want to return it, it's about 16 quid from Amazon. So what one would I recommend? Something like this, because you can program it all on the go. You can change all CCS tones, DCS tones and so on. But if you want something cheap, something like this, get it in the blue or the black, because the yellow one's the only one I had in stock, and the blue one or black one won't show up the dirt so much. So I'd recommend something like these two, but a more professional one would be something like that one, which is the DJ446. I don't think they do them anymore, but that's obviously a more professional PMR. It's got a bit of weight to that one as well. And just these sort of ones are cheap. And the good thing about these is if the battery dies, charge it via USB. Anyhow, that was a quick look at some old PMR radios that I've been reviewing on the channel, and which ones I recommended. If you found the video some use, you know what to do, give it a thumbs up. This video's gone on for about 10 minutes or so. If you found the video some use, you know what to do, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, the other button seems to work too. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. This is 2E0 IQJ 73s for now.